Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Doron Gerstel, CEO of Perion. Doron, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Hi, nice meeting you.
All right, and let's talk about digital ad spend. How much has digital ad spend grown, and how does consumer behavior impact it?
Yes, great question. So according to eMarketer, the overall spend by advertiser has grown dramatically, and they reported $340 billion in 2020, and this will goes up to more than $500 billion in 2024. But when we're looking about this gap of $200 and something billion, we're asking where this growth is coming from. And the best way to look at it is to look at the consumer behavior, because consumer behavior is what drives advertisers to put their money accordingly. So we see three different type of different consumer behavior that drive the spend. First and foremost, consumers spend way more time in front of screen. In this regards, way more time on social media, and that's why advertiser is shifting budget towards social media advertising, if it's Facebook and other social vehicle. The next trend is very much has to do with digital TV, what the consumer call it smart TV. So we see more and more cordless type of TV that taking over the traditional TV. And that's definitely a shift that is happening from an advertiser. So from linear TV advertising, it's all moved to connected TV advertising, known for CTV. That's the second trend. The third trend is very much has to do with, I think, COVID and the fact that we're doing more online shopping, and commerce is in its tipping point. So performance advertising, and the best place for performance advertising is where consumer is expressing their highest possible intent, which is on search. So there is a huge growth on search advertising. So those are the three things: more time on screens, moving to digital screen, and more searches that consumer is very much changing their habits.
So tell us where Perion fits into the ecosystem, and where are you seeing growth, and where are improvements being made to the business?
So that's thanks for the question, because the decision that we were taking, back then, years ago, actually it was beginning of 2017, was very much diverse our spend. And diverse our spend that has to do with three main channels, or we call it pillars of digital advertising: social advertising, display advertising, and search advertising. And the reason we were doing it was looking it from the point of view of the chief digital officer of any given brand. The chief digital officer, his main decision is very much how to allocate its budget, digital advertising budget, along those three pillars. And what is happening, because of all kind of changes, consumer behavior that we just talked, the chief digital officer is shifting his budget along those three pillars. And Perion, is our strategy, diversification strategy, definitely wants to capitalize on these changes, and don't want to be affected by the fact that they're being moved from one pillar to another pillar. So our growth is definitely the fact that we covered the three, and I can point out that the main growth factor has to do with the video and CTV, and that's what's happening between last year and this year. We reported our results. We're showing 80% growth year over year. Has to do with video, has to do with CTV, has to do with performance advertising, which we definitely see how this is moved. So we're following closely all those changes in consumer behavior that is very much driven the advertiser to change their preference. And since we are on the three main pillars, we're definitely capitalize on those changes.
And Doron, in the last minute here to wrap up, what's your outlook in terms of industry growth? Do you expect the consumer to stay on this digital path?
Yeah, definitely. I think that what we've seen is that there is a common question is what's happening after COVID. And I think good things are natural, which will stay. And if consumer is definitely enjoy the fact that the online and the e-commerce is working way better, and you will stay with it. And the fact that we're consuming more content, over digital screen than linear screen, that's fact. We want more variety, and we want to get it the way we want it, to run it the time we want it, and it all has to do with using smart TV. So that's a huge movement. Just to give you an idea, it's an $80 billion of advertising that is eventually, let's say in the next 5-10 years, is going to shift from the linear TV into digital screen CTV, which is a huge opportunity for companies like us.
All right, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thanks again.